Welcome to Lift Where You Stand, a podcast for homeschool moms learning to build real confidence, not from having it all together, but a God confidence that meets you right where you are. I'm your host, Marcy Lovelace, and if your homeschool feels a little messy, loud, or uncertain today, you are in the right place. You don't need a different life to feel more confident. You just need a different way to stand in the one you already have. I've been there. I see you. And I'm here to lift you where you stand. Hello, everybody. Today, we are going to talk about a statement that I hear quite often from homeschooling moms of, I'm not organized enough to homeschool. So can you homeschool? Here's the question. Can you homeschool if you are not organized? First off, let's kind of dive into that question a little bit. What does that even mean? Is there an exact science to being organized? Maybe it's you comparing yourself to the perfect Instagram post that has the color-coded planners, the shelves that are decorated, the beautiful bins that are labeled, and instantly, when you think this, you automatically think, I could never do that. I wouldn't be a great homeschooler because that doesn't interest me. Okay? Or maybe you've tried to reach this level of organization and accomplished it, but you weren't able to maintain it. Okay? Maybe your kitchen table is absolutely covered with books and crayons and half-finished projects and a few dirty plates amongst it all. Okay? But then you get on your phone and then you start comparing your homeschool, your spaces, your rooms, your kitchen table to Instagram. And this translates somehow that you are not cut out for homeschooling. Or you start to feel pressure. This is where I found I was a lot of times is I start to feel pressure and you start to react in a way that doesn't really help your homeschool. It doesn't make you a better homeschooler. Okay? I want to challenge this thought. You know, I love a challenge, right? And I want you to ask, what if organization is helpful, but it isn't what makes a homeschool successful? Okay? So those Instagram posts that you see, okay, that isn't real life. And we know this, but yet we still compare to this. Like we all know that it's a picture that's caught in a moment and it doesn't depict the entire story. And if you're like me, usually what's behind the camera is a disaster, right? So let's be completely real here. Homeschooling is messy. Children get sick. Babies don't follow the schedule. Teenagers, they have hard seasons. Okay, life is going to happen. We are human beings. Okay, the idea that homeschool should run like a perfectly managed classroom, it creates a really unnecessary pressure. Okay, now I am not here at all to discredit the many talented women who love to create and organize. Okay, that is a talent, and if it is one of your talents, then you capitalize on that. But know that being organized does not determine whether or not you are a good homeschooler or not. Okay. In fact, one of the greatest gifts of homeschooling is that it doesn't have to look like everybody else. It doesn't have to look like public school. You don't need bells. You don't need rigid periods and every minute planned. The reason why they have to have everything planned and organized that way is because you have one adult managing 20 to 25 children. It's a thing, okay? It makes it easier for them to be able to teach, okay? What you do need is a family culture that values learning. Think about the most important thing that your children learn every single day, okay? They're learning to read, to think, to solve problems. They're learning about God and they're learning how to work, to serve and interact with other people. And most of these lessons that happen, they don't happen because a planner told us to do it. Okay? They happen because life is happening and you allowed space for it to happen. Now, I'm not saying to ditch the planner and all of your plans that you have laid out. Okay, planning is super valuable. Organization can save you time, and simple routines reduce stress. Okay, but like I said, public schools, they need to have a routine, they need to have a plan, they need to know exactly what they are doing because there is one adult managing 20 to 25 children. Okay, our homeschools don't need that. We do not have to recreate this. Okay, that is one of the beauties of homeschool. Okay, remember, organization is a tool, it's not a requirement. As with all tools, okay, you use the tools that best fit the job or the person. Okay, so for example, a hairstylist, she's going to use scissors as a tool to cut hair. But a gardener isn't going to use the same type of tool for their cutting. They're going to use clippers to prune trees and plants. Okay, different talents, different strengths, and different tools. Some moms thrive with a very detailed plan, while others, they thrive with a very simplified rhythm. Okay, some use very already prepared lessons, and while others just use a notebook and a pen and paper, right? So the goal here isn't to become someone else. The goal is to discover what works for your family because you have been given so many strengths that are unique to you and that are very specific for your family. One of the most freeing realizations that I had was when I stopped trying to recreate public school in my home. I didn't need to match anyone else's expectations of what they thought a homeschool should look like. And that was incredibly freeing for me. What I needed to do was I just simply needed to recreate or create the homeschool that fit specifically for our family. And that, my friends, it changes everything. I learned from others. I still ask questions and I still do. There's a lot of power in learning from other homeschooling moms and getting ideas from other homeschooling moms. But then I ask myself, what does our family need and how can it benefit our family? Okay. What feels true to your family? And at this point, I started to create a homeschool built around all of our strengths, our challenges, the weaknesses, personalities, and there's also seasons of life that come into play into all of this. Okay? So maybe you are naturally organized. Fabulous. Use that gift. Okay? Maybe you're creative and you fly by the seat of your pants and you're flexible. Awesome. Use that gift. Okay. God didn't accidentally give you your personality. Okay. He didn't accidentally give you your children. He didn't accidentally give you this feeling that you should homeschool. Okay. This is such an exciting time. You are paving new paths. You are doing something incredibly hard. That is exciting. And you should be so proud of the work that you are doing for you and your family. Okay. I was watching a movie a few months back, and it's called The Instant Family. And a young couple fosters this family. I think there was 3 children, and there was an older teenage girl and just 2 younger. And there's this one clip in the movie that's really stood out to me. And they were all getting ready to go with a social worker to be reunited with their mom. And the social worker arrived. They came out of the house. They were super excited, and they saw the look on the social worker's face, and they knew something wasn't right. And she was told, the oldest daughter, all of them were told at this point that the mother had started using again, and that she could not be reunited with the kids. Okay. This, as you can imagine, was a devastating blow, especially for this teenage young woman. Okay. All she wanted was to be reunited with her mom. And as a result, she runs down the street, and she runs in between some houses, and she hides in this little fenced in area, and she kind of closes herself in, and she just sits and cries. And her foster parents at this time run after her, and they follow her, and they find her, and they start talking to her and just reassuring that everything is going to be okay. But she yells at them and says, "Stop. You are not my parents." Okay. The foster parents' response to this was just so powerful. And I loved it so much. And they said, "No, we aren't your parents, but we are here." Isn't that just so simple and beautiful? Our kids don't need a perfect homeschool. They need a present mother. They need somebody who shows up for them day after day. Okay. Years from now, your children probably won't remember whether your bookshelves were color coded. In fact, my shelves, they are organized in a specific rotation that helps me to find the books that I need during whatever season we're in. And I don't think my boys even know about it. Okay. They don't care. Okay. They aren't going to remember every lesson that happened or every lesson that didn't happen, right? What they will remember are the conversations, the feelings that they had during those conversations. They're going to remember your read alouds and the emotions that they felt when they were reading. They may not remember every book, but they will know that you read to them. They're going to remember the hikes, the laughter, the tears. Ultimately, they're going to remember the family culture that you built together. They're going to remember that they were known and that they were loved. They will one day recognize how much you sacrificed for them. A mother who cared so much that she gave up so many other things to invest her time into her children. Okay? If you've been telling yourself that you're too disorganized to homeschool, I want you to consider another possibility. And these are just maybes. Okay? They aren't what you should do. These are just maybes. I can't tell you what that looks like for you, but that can only come from you. So you know yourself better than anyone else. But maybe you don't need a better planner. Maybe you just need a little more confidence. Maybe you need to stop measuring yourself against someone else's strengths and give yourself permission to build a homeschool that fits the family God has given you. We aren't managing classrooms. You are the mother, and as the mother, you are the nurturer. And you are nurturing incredible human beings. You are making connections, you're building relationships, and allowing room for growth. And the middle of all of that growth, there's going to be difficult times. It's going to be messy. But that's okay, because in all of that mess, that's when the growth happens. It is allowing space for mistakes so that growing and learning can happen. And none of this requires you to be organized. Remember, our brains are absolutely incredible and it likes to fix things that appear to be broken. The problem is we interpret a lot of things to be broken when in actuality, they're not. They're just growing. It is just part of this journey that we call life. It's not the destination. Okay, when your brain starts bringing to your attention everything that you are not doing, stop. Stop and step back and look at what you are doing. You are doing incredible work. Another thing that I want to add on this whole concept of organization. Who decides when something is organized enough? Okay, what are we even measuring against? There are so many different levels of organization, and there isn't one right way to do it. I actually found that when I tried to keep my house immaculately clean, it caused more problems in my home because I was constantly getting on my children and having them clean up stuff, and I was constantly cleaning all the time. And this created a lot of unnecessary friction in our life. And this wasn't the level of organization that worked best for me and my family. Okay, you are the only one who gets to decide that. And here's a way that has really helped me to understand if something really needs to have more attention and more organization. Okay, if you are doing a daily activity or doing something throughout your day, if it is taking longer than normal, or it uses up more of your energy because things aren't organized. For example, your school supplies. If they are scattered all over the house and without a home, without a place to be, and you're just trying to, where's the scissors? Where's the glue stick? Where's the paint? Where's all the things? And when you want to do an art project, it may take 30 minutes just to round up all of the supplies. And as you can imagine, what happens to all of your children when you are rounding up all the supplies? Okay, they're off doing something else. Okay, that is a sign that you may need to find a better way to organize those supplies so that you are ready when you need them. Okay, it could be as simple. Another example are taking off your shoes in one spot of the house so that when you leave the house, the shoes are right where you left them instead of searching all over the house for your shoes. Okay, this is me speaking from experience. Okay, so there are going to be days that you will still come up completely and utterly exhausted. It happens to every homeschool mom, every mom. Another day, you will get another homeschooling day that is just the opposite, and everything runs smoothly. Okay, this is all normal and all part of the journey. What homeschool strength do you bring to your family? What is your gift? Okay, I want you to ask yourself this: what kind of homeschool can only happen because you are the mother of your children? Seriously, just so good when we can make that mindset change. Okay, that's it for this week. Remember to lift where you stand. You are doing better than you think. Go be with your family, and remember, life is good. I'll see you next week. If something in this podcast resonated with you, I would absolutely love it if you could like and subscribe and share with other moms that could use it. If you want to go deeper and find out how you can get more support from me, I want to personally invite you to a one-on-one homeschool coaching and mentoring call with me. To sign up, check out the link in the show notes. What's the worst that could happen? We meet, we laugh, and connect. And you may find out what I have to offer doesn't match what you're looking for. But what is the best that could happen? This could be a turning point for your homeschool, and I'm ready to help you get there.